Hey there, I'm Patrick Franco. We're gonna look at three-legged downward facing dog, which is downward facing dog with just one leg lifted and extended. This pose is pretty much a transitionary pose that we utilize during sun salutations in order to step the foot forward from downward facing dog to like a lunge position or a lunge pose. The reason why we lift the leg and do this three-legged dog is because it makes it easier to step the foot forward between the hands to do that lunge. By lifting the leg, we actually get more space between our yoga mat and our torso, which makes stepping the foot forward a little bit more accessible. So it does strengthen and stretch some components of the body, just like downward facing dog. So it stretches the hamstrings, it stretches the spine, it stretches the armpits and the arms, stretches the abdominal muscles. And also because we have one leg lifted, that leg is even getting more of a stretch in the back of the leg. But because it is downward facing dog, it is also strengthening the arms, the shoulders, the back, the abdominal muscles, as well as the hip stabilizing muscles. So it's a great pose that does both strengthening and stretching, but this version, this three-legged downward facing dog, is mainly a transitionary pose that we use to step from down dog into a lunge when we're looking at sun salutations or even coming up into some standing poses. So let's go ahead and take a look at it now. We're gonna start in downward facing dog. And remember, downward facing dog, the hands have to be a little forward of the shoulders so that the shoulder and wrists are on an angle and the knees are a little back from the hips. This makes sure that our spine has enough room to receive the stretch from the work that our arms and our legs are gonna do. From here, we curl the toes under, we lift the hips, I extend my arms fully, and I lift my buttocks away from my hands. So my spine lengthens. Now, since we're looking at three-legged dog, one thing that we can do is step the foot that's not gonna lift towards the midline. This just gives your center of balance a little bit more stability. So I stepped my right foot into the midline, and now I'm gonna lift my left leg up. So the key, as I enter three-legged dog, is that my arms still extend, so the eyes of my elbows are still lifting, my hips are still lifting, the leg on the floor is pulling back, and that allows my leg that's lifted to extend fully. Here's three-legged dog. So, all the same components of a regular down dog, except it's shifting the balance from two legs to one. And what is very helpful is to take the leg that stays on the ground and move it to the midline when you lift and extend that other leg up. Now, you sometimes might hear a teacher say, turn your toes of your lifted leg towards the floor to square off your hips. And that is something that you might want to focus on depending on what it is the teacher is asking of you. Sometimes the teacher just might care more if your leg is straight than actually having your thigh, toes, and shin turned down. So let's just look at having the top leg lifted with the thigh, toes, and shin turned down and how that squares off the hips. It also makes the shape a little bit more challenging, okay? So, same idea, we start on all fours, we'll move the hands forward, the knees back, toes curl under, downward facing dog. So again, I can shift the feet towards the midline, and now when I lift up into three-legged dog, I'm consciously ensuring that my toes, my thigh, and my shin face the floor. For me, this is about as much as I am able to lift my leg before my hip wants to open. So if the instruction is to keep the hips square, you're probably not going to be able to lift your leg as high. And that's okay, but the inner thigh is lifting to the ceiling. I'm still using my arms, lengthening my spine, and using my standing leg. All right. So there we have three-legged dog. Whether the hips are squared or the hips are open, One thing that typically doesn't change is in a three-legged dog, the leg is fully extended. There is a variation in which you might bend that top leg, but that changes the shape a little bit more than just doing a classic three-legged downward facing dog. All right, there you have it. Three-legged downward facing dog, a transitionary pose that we'll often use between downward facing dog and stepping through to a lunge. And we will see you on the mat again next time.